Come on. Come on. Come. Let me talk to y'all real quick. I don't know why I made that so serious, but yeah, no, let's talk about this piece I just made. Let's talk about it. The title of this piece is Left It All Behind, and this is basically like a mixed media piece, and it has color pencils, charcoal, oil pastels. It's just what I could throw together. What I've illustrated was two individuals, holding hands. They locked in for real. So I illustrated two people holding hands. But you see, one of the arms has been chopped off because one of the individuals actually cut their own hand off, right? And then so you just have like this limp little hand or limp little wrist. And it's just, it's just kind of hanging. I am not good at describing it. It's just kind of hanging and shit. And then you got like this woman just emerging from and then you just got this woman emerging from the wrist. And then, you kind of have like, a nice little blue background, maybe with some clouds. That's really just it. So let's kind of go into why did I make this piece in the first place. So when it comes to like relationships or just friendships or bonds of camaraderie, right? I've had quite a few experiences where I've been ghosted a lot. I've been ghosted quite a few times, or I've just had some friendships just not work out for whatever reason, and kind of left me in a difficult position. Not really difficult, but more of a painful position. Especially when it comes to being ghosted. Like I like to have, I'm one of those people who like to have a little bit of closure as to what the fuck happened, because I'm not really with that whole no communication thing. It's just not me. It pisses me off. So when I go through experiences like that, I often question what the fuck happened? Like what was this person's intention? You know what I mean? It makes me think what was this person's intention? Because I start thinking, and it's just I think in general, I don't believe that people have bad intentions. I think people often just make selfish decisions without considering another person's feelings. You know what I mean? So it's not like people are out to hurt you in some sort of way. It's more of they're just thinking only of themselves. So in general, that's kind of how I like to think. And when it comes to situations like this, I'm thinking they just didn't give a fuck about me at all. They didn't even consider how I would fucking feel. Or, but at the same time, I'm always one of those people who like to take accountability, try to think about what I did in that situation to kind of cause this and that, and then what I could do in the future. Because, obviously you can't just be stuck in the past. You gotta also look forward, you feel me? That's what you gotta do. I kind of wanted to make a shift in perspective with this piece. And it's more when people make decisions to step away from a friendship or a relationship, I don't think it's often talked about how the person who's actually leaving feels. You know what I mean? Because it's not always an easy decision, but they're making the best decisions for themselves. So in order to set themselves free, they're making a better decision for themselves. But it doesn't mean that they don't care. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that this person isn't going through some sort of pain by making this decision. And that's why I kind of wanted to illustrate with this piece, because I think you guys can obviously see where I'm coming from with this piece. It's pretty obvious when you look at it, hey, the person cut his own arm off just to be free from this person, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily hurt them. But they did that in order to set themselves free and to make the best decisions for themselves. Now, with the woman that's kind of emerging from the cut off arm, I did that because in a way I wanted to say that you can't really change the past, but you are left with a lot of pleasant memories. So even though you cut yourself off from that person or however the relationship or friendship ends, you're still in a way carrying a piece of them with you throughout the rest of your life. You know what I mean? It's like those experiences that you share with individuals, it kind of adds to you, adds to your life, adds to perhaps your wisdom. You know what I mean? If I had to say that I learned anything from making this piece, it's obviously just, I'll say if there's anything that I learned from making this piece, it's that you never really know how somebody feels. You never know what somebody's actually thinking. And that it's kind of best not to worry about it. You know what I mean? I think it's so easy for us to search for an answer to things that when there may not even be an answer to begin with, that our mind starts to like subconsciously try to fill in the blank as to like what could have happened, what caused this, da 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 da. And I think I kind of learned is this: I'm not trying to worry about shit anymore. I'm not, bro. I'm not trying to worry about it anymore, because like you never know what it is, so there's no point. Like if that person isn't willing to kind of communicate with you as to like what happened or why they're choosing to step away, then I feel like there's no point in worrying about it. No point in stressing over it, causing yourself grief like I have. Oh man. But I think this is not my favorite piece, because overall I feel like I could have done a lot better on it, you know, and at some point it was just kind of too late to go back, too late to fix this, too late to fix that. But overall, you know, it's still a nice and wonderful piece, but it's just not my favorite. Although I do like the emotions that it kind of stirs up for me, because it makes me think of those previous friendships and relationships I've had in the past, and it just makes me smile, because, you know, even though things ended up bad and, you know, didn't necessarily have a good ending, it still makes me think about all the good times and seeing people's smiles. See, I had already I had already made a couple clips on TikTok from just this piece, right? And off rip, people was already messing with it, and it was really just because of I guess you could say the significance of the piece. And that's something, you know, I'm always just kind of aiming for, is like for somebody to look at my work and then kind of take something from that. That's really the end goal for me. So with this piece specifically, I did want to kind of like point out something that I do in a lot of my works, just for, like, you know, for you guys' is kind of understanding. But whenever I try to incorporate, when you take a look at this piece, you can obviously see that one of the hands is black and white. It's really just my perspective, because, you know, in the world that I'm living in, and the way that I perceive things, I feel like I live in such a black and white world that is stripped of energy. You know what I mean? So with that being said, when you have pieces like this specifically, I always put myself in a black and white perspective. I don't think there will ever be a time where if I ever like do a self-portrait or try to illustrate myself in some sort of way, I'm always going to be in black and white. When it comes to looking at some of my other, looking back at some of my other pieces, where I try to incorporate color and black and white at the same time, I'm always in the perspective of the person that is in black and white, because that's how I see myself. So yeah, I kind of wanted to illustrate that. Really thinking about it. But amen. That's pretty much all I really wanted to talk about with this piece. If you are interested in learning more, you could always just visit my website, because I'll be typing up little blogs and stuff. If you want to know more information about the piece, you can go ahead and hop on there, check it out, read it for yourself. And if you're interested in purchasing the piece and taking it home with you, you can also visit my website. Yeah, you go ahead and buy it there. Prints are not available at the moment, but they will be soon. So you can stay tuned from just follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or just basically wherever. But you can also just check in on the website. Just stay tuned, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it comes in. When I get I'll let you know when I have the prints rolling and shit. I appreciate y'all listening into this video, watching me work and hearing me talk about the piece and whatnot. If this piece is something that you could somewhat relate to, then I feel like you should just go ahead and hit that like button for me. You should maybe even subscribe. I would really appreciate that. But again, thank y'all for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next video.